What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to give you a quick recap of what went down on the Mississippi River for the 5th stop on the FLW Pro circuit. This was the 2nd super tournament. It's been a crazy year, you know, nothing has been normal about this year, so I was just super excited to get back to fishing, get out and fish another event. Really wanted to get Chickamauga behind me. You know, that was my worst event in a long time, so I was really disappointed, really upset with myself about that one. So really wanted to get back out there and just fish another tournament and try and move on from that one. So got up to the Mississippi, and practice was pretty good. You know, I had a pretty good practice. I dialed in a couple different patterns, and was really looking forward to this event. You know, I grew up on a river. I still live on a river around Pittsburgh, and I just love river fishing. So I felt right at home with all the current and everything on the Mississippi River. But fishing's definitely a little different. There's a lot more cover and more grass and that kind of stuff. So I had to change up my tactics a little bit, but it was still like fishing right at home. First pattern that I had going was some frogfish in the grass. Found a couple little groups of them in practice. Was able to catch a few in the tournament, and when I did that, I was using just a jackal frog here. I had 65-pound Seaguar braid and a new favorite Pro Series rod. This is the 7.3 heavy. That is an ideal frog rod. It's got a soft tip, so it allows you to work the bait well, and when one eats it, you can just jack them, and that rod loads up, and it's not gonna pull the bait away from the fish like you would a very fast action rod. So it's more of a moderate fast, I guess you would say. But that rod right there was key to hooking up with those fish and landing them, getting them out of the slop. You know, it's got a lot of backbone. It can handle a big fish way back in the slop, so I was able to muscle them out of there. Soleus XCS 8.1-to-1 gear ratio. I wanted the fast gear ratio to be able to ski them in once I got them hooked, and be able to wind that frog in quickly to make more casts. But that was the setup. I had 2 of these on the deck, a couple different colors, that kind of stuff. You know, I did catch 1 or 2 on a horny toad and 1 or 2 on a fluke. I was throwing on the same setup here, but for the most part, the frog did the most damage when I was in the grass. If I missed the fish on the frog, or I came to a little open area, I would throw a speed worm. Or actually, I threw a Zoom speed worm, and I threw a Strike King Rage cutter worm. I think that's what it's called. This one right here, I just cut it off this rod, honestly, because it got tangled up, so I just cut it off. But I was throwing that right there. That is a 5/0 Trokar TK100 worm hook. The best hook for throwing a speed worm. You know, you can just rig that up and wind it. So nice. I was throwing that on the favorite Hex. This is the 7.6 heavy. 20-pound Seaguar Tatsu on there, and again a Soleus XCS 8.1-to-1. I was able to just slow my retrieve down a little bit and keep that worm down, but I was throwing the worm on an 1/8 Eco Pro tungsten weight, so just getting a little bit of weight to help you cast it further, just get it down a little bit. But that was when I found those little bit open areas in between the grass, in between the pads, or working down an edge. I would pick up that speed worm, just cover water, and I ended up weighing a few fish on it. So it was a good bait to have on the deck. So that was pretty much my main baits for grass fishing. You know, like I said, I caught one on a Senko, I caught one on a fluke, a horny toad, a couple different baits, but those were my main 2 players right there. And when that pattern would fizzle out, I went to flipping undercut banks, wood, bushes, whatever was in the water on the bank that had a little bit of depth to it. There had to be 3 or 4 foot up against the bank, and it seemed like those fish were using those banks a lot. A lot of people were doing this. It was getting pretty crowded, so I feel like that hurt the fishing a little bit. But I had a couple sneaky stretches, a couple sneaky little points that I spent a lot of time in practice trying to get over some shallow stuff and finding some sneaky stuff, and that really helped me with a couple key fish. So finding those sneakier stretches was definitely key. But when I was flipping the bank, I was just flipping a tube. I felt right at home flipping a tube. This is just a Bass Pro Shops tender tube on there, just black with blue tails, nothing fancy. I had a 1/2 ounce Eco Pro tungsten flipping weight on there, a 3/0 Trokar TK130. That's a perfect hook for that tube right there. And on this rod, I had 25-pound Seaguar Abrazex line that I was flipping with, and I had that on the brand new, hot off the press, Big Sexy flipping. So this is a brand new model in the Big Sexy line. It's a 7.7 extra heavy. It's got a shorter handle than the other Big Sexies. It is an ideal flipping rod. I really love this flipping rod. It's so balanced, it feels well in your hand. That is my new favorite flipping and pitching rod. I was able to really jack them fish hard. I even sent one flying and hit me in the stomach a couple times. But that rod's very powerful, and that's the perfect flipping and pitching rod. Other than that, I had, whenever I would come to a matted eelgrass or matted whatever it may be, duckweed that was blown in against the bushes or the grass or the trees or whatever I was flipping along, I would pick up this rod, which had a little bit heavier weight. I had one with a 3/4 and one with an ounce, just depending on how thick the mat was that I needed to get through. Same bait, same hook, Trokar TK130 3/0, but I would switch up to 50-pound braid on this because I was getting it down into some heavier cover. So I wanted to make sure I had heavy enough line to yank one out. And this definitely played a big role. I caught a couple key fish on the punching rod. And I was punching with the Pro Series 7.6 heavy. You know, Andy Morgan put a lot of time in designing this rod, so he's one of the best flippers out there. And this rod is pretty bad to the bone for flipping a little bit heavier weight. I'm really impressed with that, and I'm looking forward to getting some more time on the water using that new Pro Series 7.6 heavy. But that's pretty much it, guys. I had 50-pound Seaguar Smackdown braid on there, Soleus XCS 8.1 to 1 again. I love that 8.1 to 1. That's pretty much what I use for majority of my largemouth fishing. You always want that fast retrieve so you can catch up to them. But that was pretty much it, guys. That's the baits. That's what I used. Those were my patterns. I actually lost the 7 biggest fish that bit during the event. If you can try and think about that. The 7 biggest fish that bit me during the event, I lost, which is just unbelievable. It was such a train wreck to have that happen. So to salvage it and still finish 61st, get a check, get some decent points, pretty much locked into the championship now. That's actually where I'm at right here. I am out on Lake Michigan for a little pre-practice for our Sturgeon Bay event, but can't complain with that, especially when you have that bad event. To salvage it and still get out of there with a paycheck, I have no complaints. Super blessed to get that all done. So appreciate you guys watching this video. If you haven't checked out my whole tournament video, my practice videos, go back, check them out. I give away some juicy stuff in there, so you don't want to miss out on that. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for some more videos. We got a couple busy weeks coming up here, so there's going to be all kinds of content coming, and camera's going to be running the whole time. We got a lot of events coming up. It's going to be busy. You guys are going to see a lot of bass get caught, and that's what it's all about. Hopefully I can help you learn something and catch some more fish. So God bless, have a good one, and we'll see you guys in the next video.